What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. We have got some awesome sales going on FullGripGames.com. We've got these pin collections for just $15 a piece, 3 packs of Hidden Fates, an awesome pin, and a sweet promo card. Both the Mewtwo and the Mew versions on FullGripGames.com. Make sure to check it out on our website. I'll link it in the description below. Enjoy the video. Check this out. Sword and Shield set revealed. All right. We've got some new stuff here. There was also, this guy. He's got Trade. Thrifty. Once during your turn before you attack me, discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. Trade is coming back. Love it or hate it. Trade is going to be back in standard format. It's also got a pretty good attack. Energy assist, 40 damage, attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Very cool attack. This attack is actually just very versatile. And since you can do it for colorless energy, you can accelerate energy and deal 40 damage in any type of deck. So I love that, the colorless nature of this Encino. I'm glad that they decided to make this effect on a colorless Pokemon so that it could be splashed in with any deck. I think that also very good that this does not have a very powerful attack capable of one-hit KOing Pokemon. I think that was one of the things about Zoroark that made it very difficult for the meta at that point, was that Riotous Beating could just do a ton of damage. It was a very relevant attack, and it was the most consistent, Pokemon in the game as well. So I think being, a step down, 90 hit points, and it's not your attacker, definitely makes it a little bit more balanced than Zoroark might have been. We've got Sword and Shield from Japan, revealed in its entirety here on Pokebeach, which is super cool. It appeared to be 2 little subsets from Japan. The artwork on these things is amazing. I think the Pokemon V look incredible, so I'm really excited about that. Stonjourner VMAX. I mean, just look how cool these cards look. The beautiful full art effect on these VMAX Pokemon. Super lit as well. Wobbuffet V, check that out. I'm really excited about the artwork. That's something that I'm looking at. Cramorant getting a Pokemon V. That's what I'm talking about. And it's pretty good as well. That first attack, pretty dope. Just get to search out 2 Pokemon or 2 cards from your deck. More Pico and more Pico VMAX. And we've got like Metal Patch. A lot of other cool stuff. We're going to take a look through and read some of the highlight cards. Delmise V. It's got an attack. Wrath of Wraths. 30 plus damage if any of your grass Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack during their last turn. This attack does 90 more damage. So basically a revenge type attack for 1 grass. Also, let's talk about the fact that it's got 220 hit points. All right. Power Creep. I see you loud and clear. You're telling me basic Pokemon that are worth 2 prizes now rocking 220 hit points. Love it or hate it, it's 2019 and basic Pokemon have got 220 hit points. And they're worth 2 prizes. So, that's pretty cool. Delmise V, rocking the amount of hit points there. And it can do 200 damage for 3. This Pokemon can't use Giga Hammer during your next turn. We've got Rillaboom already in English. Voltage Beat. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 grass energies and attach them to one of your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Very much reminds me of Vikavolt with the strong charge ability, except Vikavolt got a grass and a lightning. Rillaboom just gets 2 grass. That's pretty neat. And could be good. I mean, Rillaboom also, you could play it with a Alolan Exeggutor GX, right? To instantly evolve up into your Grookey, into your Rillaboom, and then you could use the Rillaboom to accelerate energy from the deck onto, I don't know, a Alolan Exeggutor, whoever. So that's pretty neat. If I skip over something that you wanted to talk about, go ahead and holler at me in the chat, and I'll scroll back. But I got a couple Pokemon that I saw this morning that were pretty exciting, so I'm going to probably focus on those. Lapras V. It's got an attack, wave back, attach a water energy from your hand to this Pokemon, then switch it with one of your benched. 3 waters and a colorless. Ocean Loop, 210 damage. Return 2 water from this Pokemon to your hand. I love the artwork on it as well. It's like hand-drawn, looks hand-illustrated, which I think is really neat for a, Pokemon V, where the artwork takes up almost the entirety of the card. I think that looks really cool to have it look, sketched and hand-drawn. The Lapras VMAX as well. G-Max Pump, 3 colorless energy. This attack does 30 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you have 6 water energy on it, that's 180 plus 90. That's 270 for 6 water energy, which is amazing. And it's got 320 hit points, and it's worth 3 prizes. What an absolute behemoth. Now, something that's interesting is the fact that Lapras VMAX, water type, water type VMAX Pokemon, right? It's worth 3 prizes with an amazing water type attack, but it can't be copied in Archie's Blastoise in expanded format. Mewtwo and Mew only copies Pokemon EX and GX. VMAX is a different mechanic altogether. So you might be thinking to yourself, wow, G-Max Pump is like really, really good, and I would love to play that maybe in the Archie's deck. But I think Kingdra GX probably just outclasses G-Max Pump anyway, as far as damage output goes. So you're probably just going to copy the Kingdra GX. But Lapras VMAX could be a Pokemon that maybe you set up, In the expanded Archie's deck, you could also play Lapras VMAX with the new Frostmoth that is in this set. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about Frostmoth. Yes, Frostmoth, definitely a busted card out of this set. Drizzle. It's got an ability, Shady Business. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may search your deck for 1 trainer card. That's pretty neat. Also really like Drizzle's character design. I think Drizzle is a very cool Pokemon. And Inteleon, Shady Dealings. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you can search for 2 trainer cards. So that's pretty neat. The whole evolution line is just consistency based, which is dope. Yes, this is the Pokemon I was talking about. It's got Pokemon V and GX printed on the card. Boltund. Fighting Bite. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V or a Pokemon GX, this attack does 90 more damage. So I think it's neat to see Pokemon V and GX referenced in the same card. That makes me think that maybe eventually they would print a card that is maybe, cannot be damaged by VMAX, GX, or EX Pokemon, something like that. Will they create an ultimate wall card that can't be damaged by EXs, GXs, or VMAXs? I think the text here makes me think that it's possible that they would. Pinchurin, Lock Needle, 30 times damage, flip 4 coins. If you like flipping coins, this card is for you. Does 30 more damage for each heads. If you flipped at least 2 heads, then your opponent's defending Pokemon, the defending Pokemon's automatically paralyzed. New Gengar, Life Shaker. As often as you like during your turn before you attack, you move 1 damage counter from one of your Psychic Pokemon to another one of your Psychic Pokemon. That's a little bit disheartening, I think, from a Gengar Stage 2. It's like, with only 110 hit points, I would rather... I guess it's to keep it balanced, right? Moving damage counters from Psychic Pokemon to Psychic Pokemon. But... you guys remember Dusknoir? I mean, Dusknoir used to just move damage counters like wherever on the opponent's side of the field. I feel like, and then, who was it? The purple guy that evolves from Duosion Senior, right? So, Duosion Senior used to, you guys are going to correct me in T-minus 5 seconds. Who is it? Reuniclus. Thank you. Appreciate it. Beezle Bozo, 500 bits. Appreciate it, my man. Not sure if you saw, but Guardy Sylvia on One Regional, I did see that, Beezle Bozo. And it was the first thing I commented on when we started the stream. Thank you so much for the 500 bits and the support. Appreciate it. Yes, there was Reuniclus, moved damage counters anywhere you want on your side of the field. So Gengar just kind of feels like a weaker Reuniclus from Black and White. And obviously, you can't always just make Pokemon stronger than they were, but to have a card that's clearly not as strong, maybe Reuniclus would be, the argument is that Reuniclus might be too strong in today's meta with 300 hit point Pokemon, but I'm not sure. Wobbuffet V, step back, switch all damage counters on this Pokemon with those on your opponent's active Pokemon for just 2 colorless energy, and then Shadow Bind, 70 damage. The defending Pokemon can't retreat during your next turn. That's pretty cool first attack there. Can soak damage and then move it to the defending Pokemon. And the thing is, and I guess maybe you can combo that with Gengar, right? Something like that. You move damage around, and then you move it all to the defending Pokemon to add up to perfect knockouts. Something like that. So that's pretty cool. Poltergeist. It's got Poltergeist, the same Gengar and Mimikyu Tag Team GX got the same attack as that, 50 damage times the amount of trainer cards. And I also really liked the fact that they built in draw into the Sinistea and the Poltergeist. Both of them have an attack T-time, which allows them, both you and the opponent get to draw 2 cards. So you're kind of building up to this big Poltergeist attack by allowing your opponent to draw 2 cards. So that's pretty neat. And there was also... I wasn't super impressed with the Stonjourner and the Stonjourner VMAX. I really love these Pokemon. I love the design of them. I think it's, a very cool design Pokemon for sure. Also really like that the VMAX has got this like red kind of halo around it. That looks super neat, right? And definitely gives you the impression that it's, like Gigantamaxed or something. Guard Press, 40 damage during your opponent's next turn, takes 20 less. Mega Kick, 3 for 150. Isn't it insane that like 3 for 150, you're just like, eh. And then the Stonjourner VMAX, Stone Gift, attach a fighting energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon, then heal 120 damage from that Pokemon, but it doesn't do any damage. It just kind of accelerates and it heals. And then Max Rockfall just does 200 for 3 fighting. Also, apparently, this is a new thing that's going to be going on in the Sword and Shield expansion, is that Poison type is now going to be recast as Dark type. So for the original Pokemon cards, Poison was Grass type. You remember the original Muck from Fossil was Grass. Then, I guess in the Diamond and Pearl era, Poison got recast as Psychic. And now Poison is getting recast as Dark. So that's really cool. We got Croagunk and Toxicroak both as Dark types here, even though they're not Dark types in the game, right? I think they're just Poison. So that is pretty cool. Toxicroak, ability Poison up. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, your opponent puts 2 more damage counters on it for Poison. So it's like a Burbank City Gym, but for an ability. We've also got a new Berserker card, and we are going to be getting a new Berserker emote on the channel as well, which I'm really excited about. That's getting commissioned for next week, so I can't wait to see what Mori comes up with for our Berserker emote. I think Berserker is super cool. When the Galarian Meowth first got revealed, it was getting some mixed reactions on the internet. I'm a big fan. I think the whole Galarian Meowth and Berserker thing, I love it. I mean, I can't get enough. I think this is just amazing. And very cool designed Pokemon. The fact that he's metal, I think Berserker is just such a dude. Look at this guy, right? And then when he like laughs in the game and he's got his claws out. Super cool looking. It's got an ability, Steely Spirit. The attacks of your metal Pokemon do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And that, of course, could stack as well if you wanted it to. And, of course, we've got Zacian V, Intrepid Sword. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 3 cards of your deck and attach any number of metal energy cards you find there to this Pokemon. Put the other cards in your hand. If you use this ability, your turn ends. That's a really good ability. And the fact that this is just a basic Pokemon with 220 hit points, and for 3 energy, it does 230. Oh, my goodness. This card is phenomenal. And it only gives up 2 prizes when it gets knocked out. There is a lot to love about this card. And it's got a grass resistance, I think. And it's got all of the metal support. Not only does it have this guy here, who can boost its damage output by 20. It's also got access to Frying Pan, you know, if you want to play Metal Frying Pan. There's still not a lot of great ways to remove tools in standard format. The Metal Pokemon that's attached to takes 30 less damage from opponent's attacks and has no weakness. Absolutely insane. I think that this Zacian V, definitely a solid card. And I think that with that ability, Intrepid Sword, you could very easily attack on the second turn of the game. I mean, use 230 damage on the second turn of the game. Pretty easy to negotiate. You just have to attach and then hit in your top 3 cards. You do have to hit a Metal Energy, which, yeah, you have to get a little bit lucky in order to do. I mean, you're certainly going to be using Brave Blade by turn 3, guaranteed. And I think that, just all in all, a very, very strong card. And it's got a lot of good metal support. Oh, I forgot. There's Metal Patch. You're definitely using Intrepid Sword. You're using Brave Blade by turn 2. You could even get a turn 1. Metal Patch is all the way down here. But since we saw the... Metal Saucer. Check that out. You attach a Metal Energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Metal Pokemon. This is basically just Metal Patch. So with the Metal Patch, taking that into consideration, right? Because we have to think about the Metal Saucer when we're thinking about Zacian V. You could very easily get a turn 1 or a turn 2 Brave Blade, which is just very aggressive. It's a lot of damage output. And I think that is really strong. Yep. So you just accelerate, to Zacian on the bench. Use that Intrepid Sword. You can use Metal Patches and get that thing up and rolling real quick. There's the Cincino that we were talking about. I didn't know that it was going to be here. Very cool. And then it obviously has that trade ability. Once you're going to turn before you attack, you may discard a card from your hand, draw 2 cards, kind of like Pidgeotto. You can also set it up with Winona in expanded format, y'all. If you have not gotten yourself a playset of Winonas, head on over to fullgripgames.com. Now, #plug. Let's go. Yes, but seriously, Winonas. Really good card in expanded format if you plan on playing expanded format at all. Winona just sets up your Mincinos, right? I mean, we saw that in the Pidgeotto control deck in expanded format that Jimmy Pendarvis and some other guys played at Portland. And I think that the Winona is going to be even stronger and expanded with Cincino, and Mincino. Very cool. So definitely get your hands on those if you don't have them already. Then there is Cramorant V. He's got an attack that is a Magic player's dream. Beak, catch, search your deck for up to 2 cards, put them into your hand. Magic players love tutor effects. I don't know, every Magic player that I've seen that gets into the Pokemon trading card game, they just love tutor effects. They're like, wow, you get to search your deck for whatever you want, put it in your hand for only a 1 mana cost. Busted. Right. So Cramorant, very cool there. And then it's got an attack, Spit Shot, discard all energy from this Pokemon. It does 160 damage snipe to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Just enough damage to knock out a Dedenne GX, which is pretty cool. Evolution Incense. This is an amazing card out of this new Sword and Shield set. Search your deck for an Evolution Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. That's just bonkers. It's free search for an evolved Pokemon. You don't have to have the basic Pokemon in play. It's not like, Evolution Soda or Evo Soda or whatever. You just get to go search for an evolved Pokemon, which is great because works with Ditto too, right? Like you can just go get yourself something that evolves from Ditto and then evolve it. Aggro Craig with the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much, Aggro Craig, for supporting the channel. Let's get some vanilla shiz going in the chat. Appreciate you. Evolution Incense is amazing. Hyper Potion, I think, is also really good. Discard 2 energy from one of your Pokemon and heal 120 damage from that Pokemon. Obviously, discarding 2 energy from a Pokemon is a lot to ask, but 120 damage is a lot to heal. So we're seeing a lot more healing cards make their way back into standard format. I mean, with Max Potion gone, cards like this could see play. Fishing Rod is amazing. Shuffle 2 Pokemon and 2 basic energy from your discard pile into your deck. Hello. This card is just bonkers. This is an amazing, amazing item card. It's like everything Super Rod wanted to be, but it's just better than Super Rod. Super Rod shuffles 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy, but this gets 2 Pokemon and 2 basic energy. So I think it's just better than Super Rod in a lot of situations, because Super Rod competes with like Rescue Stretcher as far as recovering Pokemon goes, right? Because Rescue Stretcher can get 1 from the discard pile to the hand, or it can get 3 from the discard pile to the deck. So that 3 from the discard pile to the deck is like the same that Super Rod does. And Rescue Stretcher, so if you're just using Super Rod to get Pokemon back, Rescue Stretcher is just better, and you should play Rescue Stretcher in expanded format. But if you want to get a combination of Pokemon and energy, then I think that Fishing Rod is probably exclusively better than Super Rod, because Fishing Rod gets you 2 energy and 2 Pokemon. So I think that just gets you more cards recovered, which should outclass Super Rod in a lot of ways. So it's looking like Super Rod, to give a point of reference, we'll pull one up. It's not standard legal. It's an expanded card. Shuffle 3, right? I think that this is just going to be a direct upgrade on that. We've also got Rotom Bike. Draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. I was really excited when I first read that. I was like, oh my god, a completely broken card. Okay, but then your turn ends. And it's like, oh man, your turn ends, right? So it's a cool card because it can allow you to draw a lot. Yes, Fishing Rod is also up to. That's also a good point. Yo, thank you so much for the gifted sub, Sephiroth. 427, gifted to Paper Plane. Thank you so much, Sephiroth. Yes, the up to clause also very big, because Super Rod, you had to shuffle. So like maybe you only wanted to get 2 Pokemon back, but if there were 3, you had to shuffle 3. Or if you didn't want to get a basic energy back, you had to shuffle the basic energy. Whereas this one, you could do up to 2 Pokemon and up to 2 basic energy. So you could do 1 and 1, which is really cool. The new Rotom Bike is really neat, and it allows you to fill your hand to 6, but your turn ends. I could see play with the new turn 1 supporter rule that looks like it's going to be coming into effect with Sword and Shield. You can't play supporters on the first turn of your game. It's also good in decks that are like trying to set up, like setup decks, right? Because the Rotom Bike basically gives you a second supporter on your turn. So the way I kind of am trying to look at it is like, you get to play 2 supporters, because fill your hand to 6 is a supporter effect. So you could play 1 draw supporter, and then you could play a Rotom Bike, which is kind of like a draw supporter, and then your turn ends. So I think it's a really balanced card, and I really like the design of it, and it should be really good in setup decks. It should be really good in maybe stall decks like Pidgeotto or what's soon to be Cincino Control, right? I think control decks will love this card to just kind of help burn through their deck and, and just see a lot of cards. So I think that this card is not bad, and we'll certainly see some play. Giant Charm is pretty insane. It literally just gives one of your Pokemon that doesn't have a tool attached to it 30 hit points. So if you didn't think that Pokemon VMAX were already just absolutely ginormous, now they can wear these giant capes, basically. What was it? Giant Cape? Was Giant... Am I imagining things? It's Giant Cape, right? Basically a reprint. Plus 10 on Giant Cape. Yeah, Giant Cape was plus 20 hit points from, what, Dragon Vaults? Is that Dragon's Exalted? Dragon's Exalted. And then, yeah, Giant Charm just makes it plus 30 hit points. Absolutely insane. Air Balloon is a completely busted item card as well. It's a tool that makes your Pokemon that it's attached to have 2 less retreat cost. What up? Air Balloon is an awesome card. Obviously not as good as Floatstone, but I think it's completely fine that they didn't reprint Floatstone. Floatstone is just ridiculously powerful. That card will be forever good in expanded format. In standard format, I think this is plenty balanced, and will be seen in a ton of decks. I think a lot of decks that don't need actual switch, maybe just want to give some Pokemon free retreat, Air Balloon will see a lot of play for mobility's sake. Air Balloon, you compare it with Dawn Wings. It's a good point. Peter in the chat, you compare the Air Balloon with Dawn Wings, Necrozma, and your deck has infinite free retreats, right? Use the ability Invasion, and you get to Invasion and then retreat. Previously, you couldn't do that in standard format, but now with Air Balloon, you can. So I think that's pretty awesome. Lumberry automatically heals any special condition if you were to get inflicted by a special condition. So I think Sword and Shield is shaping up to have a lot of really good item cards, a lot of really good trainer cards in it, which is something that I think our game kind of desperately needed. I think when we saw rotation happen and the Sun and Moon early sets were rotated out, I think we lost a lot of these kind of like basic game function cards that are needed in order to kind of make sensible strategies and make consistent decks. And I think we're getting a lot of those back. Like Evolution Incense, absolutely a phenomenal card. I think Air Balloon's an amazing, mobility card, which is really cool. Rotom Bike, phenomenal consistency card. Fishing Rod, phenomenal recovery card. We're just getting like an absolute boatload of great Pokemon cards in this set. Professor's Research, it's Professor Magnolia, is discard, draw 7. Cue Hallelujah music. I, for one, am very excited about this. Let me know in the chat. Press 1 if you are stoked about discard, draw 7. Press 2 if you would rather they didn't. I am very, very excited about the discard, draw 7. I'm tired of playing supporters that aren't that good. Give me a discard, draw 7. I'm into it. And then not only that, we've got Fishing Rod back as well. Fishing Rod just means that you can play Professor Magnolia and you can just discard things and then you can just throw them back in with the Fishing Rod. Insane. So I really like that kind of 1-2 punch we've got there. And then, of course, Bead is a supporter that allows you to attach a basic energy card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. I think that's actually a really neat supporter card as well, and it could see some play. Trainer-based energy acceleration is usually good. Now, supporter-based energy acceleration, obviously very good in the form of Welder, right? But this is just worse Welder. Like, comparing apples to apples. Why does Fire get Welder and everybody else gets Bead? What? Like, Fire types get the most broken energy accelerating supporter ever printed. Not only do they get to accelerate 2 fire energy from their hand, they also get to draw 3 cards. Everybody else gets to attach 1. Just 1. What? Cool, I guess, So Bead, kind of comparing apples to apples next to Welder, is just not nearly as good as Welder. But Bead still has a little bit of potential, I think, for, different types to get to accelerate some energy. Moving on to Shield translations. Orbeetle, Bug Radar, once during your turn before you attack, you may look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and put them back in any order. Wow. It's a stage 2, though. It's a stage 2, but it's a chip Ice Axe every turn. That's crazy, right? So will control decks bother to set up, Orbeetle in order to control the top decks of their opponents? I don't know. We'll have to see. Card definitely has potential. So that's pretty cool. We've also got Torkoal V. Check him out. Flame Pillar, 90 damage plus. Discard the top card of your deck. If you discard a fire energy, does 90 more. So potential for 180 for 2 fire and a colorless. And then Steam Crash, 120 damage. Discard 2 energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. That's actually an insane attack right there. Discard 2 from your opponent's active Pokemon. Psh, that attack's wildin'. Absolutely wild. I mean, that's very good. I mean, think of how many Pokemon would be highly disrupted by you discarding 2 energy from their active. I think that is just absolutely bonkers, right? I mean, if you do that against ADP, they're mad. If you do that against Mewtwo, they mad. If you do that against Reshizard, it's mad. You do that against just about any deck. If you do that against... what if you do that against Guardy Sylveon? Literally, imagine Guardy Sylveon is like never attacking. It's just going to get mad. You're just going to keep discarding energy from the Guardy Sylveon, and then it's over, right? Because even if they just keep fairy songing to the bench, it's like you literally just demolish a Guardy Sylveon with this thing. I think Torkoal V is very good. I think this attack here is one of the most broken energy removal attacks we've ever seen in the Pokemon trading card game. Not only that, this card also has access to Welder, so it's got some great built-in energy acceleration already available to it. I think that this card is just phenomenal. And it's a shame that Mewtwo and Mew can't copy Torkoal V, because if Mewtwo and Mew could copy Torkoal V, Mewtwo and Mew would love this instantaneously. However, you could just play it in your Reshizard deck, right? You just play it in your Reshizard deck, and it's like a pretty good attacker. Not to mention, for 3 energy, it could do 180 damage. After you use Victini Prism Star, the odds of you hitting a fire energy off the top are pretty high. So I think that is definitely a good card. Cinderace. It's got an ability Libero. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, you may attach up to 2 fire energy cards from your discard pile to it. That's just a great ability. Flare Starter, 190 damage. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. That's solid. I mean, the only thing holding it back is that it's potentially a Stage 2 Pokemon in, a big basic world. Like, you are a Stage 2 Pokemon with 170 hit points. Basic Pokemon regularly have 210, 220 in this world that we're living in. Can Stage 2 non-GX Pokemon, keep up with the pace of this, of this big basic format? We'll have to wait and see. If this Pokemon's your active Pokemon is damaged by an opponent's attack, the active Pokemon is now poisoned. A little Quillfish there, Dreadnought, and here's the Frostmoth everybody has been wanting to talk about. It's got an ability, Ice Dance, as often as, it's like Rain Dance, get it? But Ice Dance. As often as you like during your turn before you attack, you may attach a water energy card from your hand to one of your benched water Pokemon. And what's really interesting about Frostmoth, Stage 1 Pokemon, very easy to get into play. It accelerates water energy to water Pokemon on your bench, and it only accelerates to water Pokemon. It actually reminds me a lot of base set Blastoise. If you take a look at base set Blastoise, few people actually know this or have read the card, and I certainly didn't the first time I read the card, but base set Blastoise only accelerates to water Pokemon. I didn't know that back in the day. I didn't know that even recently until I read it just recently. So base set Blastoise only accelerates to water Pokemon. Similarly, Frostmoth only accelerates to water type Pokemon in the trading card game, except it also only accelerates to the bench. So you do have some qualifiers, right? It accelerates only to the bench, it accelerates only basic water energy, and it accelerates only to water Pokemon. That being said, this card is everything water types have been wanting, since the dawn of time. This card's incredible. I think that Frostmoth is going to see a lot of play. I think Frostmoth is the best energy accelerating Pokemon in the game right now. It's the best energy accelerating Pokemon in the game. I think it's probably, right up there with Malamar, if not better than Malamar. It's like one of those two. Between this and Malamar. This is like Malamar levels of good. Except it's better than Malamar in some ways because you only need to set up one. The most difficult part about playing Malamar, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is not the most difficult part about playing Malamar having to set up like 3 Malamars, right? Right. The most difficult part about Malamar is that you got to have like 3 Malamars on the bench, and then every time you get them gusted up and knocked out, it's a huge pain, right? But imagine if you just had to keep 1 Malamar in play. That'd be insane. So, Frostmoth, you only need 1 Frostmoth in play. And I think that in of itself means that you're going to be able to build these water decks to be very aggressive. You're going to be able to build them with an aggressive draw engine that just sees a lot of cards. You just set up your Frostmoth real quick, get an aggressive draw engine going. Maybe you play it with Lapras VMAX, right? And it looks like it does not say basic water energy. It says water energy card. So I guess would Splash, could it accelerate Splash energy? Yeah, it provides water only while it's attached to a water Pokemon. So I guess probably not Splash, right? It would have to be like Rainbow, right? You could accelerate Rainbows, maybe? Could you accelerate Rainbows? This card provides colorless energy. Yeah. See, so no. It effectively is basic waters. So, right, because everything else has a qualifier. It says this provides colorless energy first, right? If you get a unit or a blend or something. While this card is, see, they all have this as the qualifier. So, yeah. This can only accelerate basic waters as far as I know right now. But that's fine. It's an amazing card. I think when paired with like Jirachi, it's really powerful. I mean, you could sit behind Jirachi and kind of, get cards that you need out of your deck. Also, isn't there like an equivalent of Lady? What is it? It's not Lady, right? It is Lady. Is it Lady? Ah, it's Lady. Yes, there's Lady. All of a sudden, cards like Lady, cards you never thought that you would in a million years ever play. Now that Frostmoth is a thing, you find yourself looking at Lady like, okay, I see you. You get 4 basic energy out of the deck, do ya? Huh. And then I could take those 4 energy and then I could just throw them all into play, you say. Right, so like these supporter cards, Fisherman too, yes. Both Fisherman and Lady start to look a little bit better in standard format. Fisherman gets truth be told, did not know this full art Fisherman existed. What's up? That's pretty cool. Put 4 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. Dope. So yeah, if you're looking to really get a jump on the next meta with your Frostmoth deck, check out fullgripgames.com. And you can get your your full art Fisherman, you can get your full art Lady, things like that. And get yourself ready for that Frostmoth deck. Very cool. Then, of course, we've got more Pico V and more Pico VMAX. More Pico V does 20 damage, and it does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. I'm assuming that's like 20/20 snipe, kind of like Overrun. An electric wheel, 150 damage, discard an energy from this Pokemon, then switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. I actually really like that kind of hit and run style attack. That's super neat. I mean, you could pair electric wheel with dolls and just hit and run into dolls over and over again. So that's pretty cool as well. And then there's Morpeko VMAX. Super Discharge, 180 damage. This attack does 20 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. That's just a lot of damage, 180 and then 20 snipe across the board. And it's got 300 HP. Dang, bro. That is pretty crazy. Galarian Rapidash. Look at that. Pastel Veil. Each of your Pokemon can't be affected by special conditions. Situationally, that's useful. I mean, as far as like a tech card goes, if status conditions ever become a thing that you really need to get yourself out of, then that is very good, right? I hate to say it, Sean, close your ears, don't listen. But Galarian Rapidash is kind of an insane tech against Shocklock and expanded format, is it not? Right? Shocklock kind of just... If you play this card, you know, maybe a Ditto and a Galarian Rapidash in your Zoroark deck, now all of a sudden your Zoroark deck should probably never lose to Shocklock ever again if you play the Galarian Rapidash. So that's pretty interesting. And I think that it's a nice little tech for the expanded card pool. I think, weirdly, this card is probably better in expanded than it does in standard format. Each of your Pokemon can't be affected by special conditions. Wow. That means that Jirachi does not go to sleep either. So that's pretty interesting, right? iNap Time with the Twitch Prime sub. Thanks so much, iNap Time. That's pretty cool. And then I love the little yarn balls they got. Look at that. Muna. Musharna. Sick. In DDV, watch over. Once during your turn, you may heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon. This card is busted. I mean, this is literally just a big version of Shaman. You guys remember Shaman? Shaman did the same thing, except for grass Pokemon. Floral Heal, right? Once during your turn, you may heal 20 damage from your active grass Pokemon. This is the same thing, but can be used on any type. I think Indeedee definitely has potential. If you have 4 in DDV in play, that means you're healing 80 damage a turn from the active Pokemon. That is very cool. I really love the artwork on these Hitmonchan and Hitmonlees as well. I love that they kind of go together. You can see the Hitmonchan in the background over here and Hitmonlee in the foreground. On this card, we've got Hitmonchan in the foreground, Hitmonlee in the background. Very cool artwork on those guys. And then they have attacks that kind of go together as well. I guess they're not bad. 80 plus 80 more if Hitmonchan's on your bench for Hitmonlee, and then Hitmonchan does 20 plus. If Hitmonlee's on your bench, it does 20 more. It's like okay. Rhydon. Rhydon's just cool. Rhyperior. Not exactly sure. Yeah, those aren't that great. Galarian Zigzagoon, Tantrum Head. Once during your turn, before you attack, when you place a card from your hand on your bench, you may put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. I bet, this card, it's kind of interesting. It's like a Flash Bite. Is it kind of like that? Is it like Crobat G? I think it's kind of like Crobat G, right? Where's this dude at? Flash Bite, once during your turn, you put Crobat from your hand on your bench. We put 1 damage counter on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Literally the same thing. So this is basically a modern day Crobat G, which is cool, right? I mean, back in the day, Crobat G was insane. But Crobat G also has no retreat cost, and back in the day, Pokemon had like 100 hit points, so doing 10 was a big deal. In 2019, Pokemon have 300 hit points, and 10 damage doesn't really have the same kind of oomph that it used to. So I'm thinking that maybe Galarian Zigzagoon is not going to be as impactful as a card like Crobat G, even though they kind of read the same. I think the card does have potential anytime you're placing damage with the effect of like a free effect, basically. Just you get to lay it down and do damage. That's pretty good. So it certainly could be played in some decks, especially if you needed to fix math on some things. Then this card could be something that you do to do that, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, that's just pretty neat. I like it. And then you have Galarian Linoone, which is unfortunately not that great. And then Galarian Obstagoon, Violent Shout. When you place Pokemon from your hand, evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So, that's very good. Now, it makes you wish that they had just made the Linoone place 2 damage counters. Why does Linoone not place 2? If Linoone placed 2, then we got a whole deck on our hands right there. You place 1, place 2, place 3. I mean, I guess maybe that would be too strong. But it does leave you wishing that Linoone had that ability, for sure. That's very cool, though. We got someone in the chat, Jolly Flying Man. You could use Meganium, I guess, to Galarian Zigzagoon straight into Obstagoon. That's fair. It's got an attack. Obstruct 90 damage during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's basic Pokemon. Wow. It's pretty serious. So, that's a very, that's a very good attack. In today's metagame, which doesn't see a lot of evolution Pokemon seeing play, I do think that things will change heading into Sword and Shield format, but that's pretty decent. Sableye V is a basic. It's got an attack or search. For Darkness Energy, put a trainer card from your discard pile into your hand. That is like Junk Hunt Light. Very cool, right? Definitely reminds you of the good old Junk Hunt, which we play in expanded format. Not you. Not you either. Or you. Or you. You. Junk Hunt. Put 2 item cards from your discard pile into your hand. That's like probably one of the most famous Sableyes ever printed, except for maybe this one, which is also very famous, right? But the Junk Hunt Sableye, a classic. We've got Junk Hunt Light here, or Search. Put a trainer from your discard pile into your hand, so you get to get more than just items. You get to get trainers. And then Wicked Claws is actually an insane attack. This attack ramps up very quickly. Wicked Claws does, for 2 darkness, does 10 damage plus 60 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, I don't like doing math, okay? But if we were to do some math, get out the old pen and paper, right? So, say I've got a Pokemon with 1 damage counter on it. John VNGS, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate you. All right, say you got a Pokemon with 1 damage counter on it. That means your Wicked Claws is doing 70. If they have 2 damage counters on it, that means they're doing 130. If they have 3 damage counters on it, that means they're doing 190. That's not bad. All right. So 190 damage for 2, and they only have to have 3 damage counters on them. Let's keep going. If they have 4 damage counters on them, 4 damage counters, then you're doing 250 damage, right? Which means that you are going to be knocking out anything that's got 290 hit points or less. If they have 4 damage counters on it, if they have 5 damage counters on it, you're doing 310 damage, which effectively is going to be knocking out anything that you would need to knock out, because they've already got 5 damage counters on them, and then they're doing 310. So with 5 damage counters on it, you should be knocking out anything in the game should be knocked out if they have 5 damage counters on them, and then you're doing 310. So you're going to have 360 total damage. And most of the VMAX Pokemon, I have not seen anything with over 360 hit points yet. Here's my wood. Okay, so that is pretty good. And like I said, with 4, you're doing 250. which is 290 total. So you're just short of the VMAX Pokemon, but with 4 damage counters, you're knocking out anything that is a traditional tag team Pokemon. So I think that is actually like a really decent attack there for just 2 darkness energy. That is not bad. And I think this card has a lot of potential as well. It's weak to grass. What? 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 Is that weak to grass? Weak to grass. Does what? Does Sableye have a type that I don't know about? All right. What's up with Sableye? Why is it weak to grass? It's weak to bug. Oh, it's weak to bug. All right. I was very confused. Thank you for solving that one, AAB, because I was like, I don't know. Maybe Sableye is part rock or ground type. I was like, I'm pretty sure this man is not rock or ground type. So I was like racking my brain like Sableye, weak to grass, weak to grass, weak to grass, weak to grass. Why is it weak to grass? All right. But I guess, is dark weak to bug, right? Dark types are weak to bug types. Is that true? I don't know. Sableye. It's Dark Ghost. That's cool. So is he weak to bug though? I guess so, right? Forgive me, chat. People who are really into the video game are probably having a real hard time right now because of my lack of knowledge about the types of Pokemon. But yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the actual types of Pokemon. So, yes. All right. I have found Bulbapedia's entry here. It says, yes, typically Sableye is damaged normally by bug and grass and is only weak to fairy. But because of the way that the trading card game works, Sableye is getting a bug weakness or a grass weakness just cuz. Okay. I don't know, chat. That's we're just getting a grass weakness just cuz. Are there any other? They're all weak to grass. They're all weak to grass, chat. They're all weak to grass. Look at that. No way. How am I just realizing this? Oh my gosh. All the dark Pokemon are weak to grass. Not those guys because they're poison. But this, weak to grass. No way. No way. They're all weak to grass. Check that out. Even Nickit and Thievul. Also weak to grass. Absolutely insane. So I think what they decided was that darkness types were going to be weak to poison or something. Is darkness typically weak to poison, though? I don't know, chat. I'm having a hard time. It's all good. Anyways, apparently Sableye is weak to grass. Moving on. We've got Scruffy and Drapion, now part of the dark team over here. They are poison types. But I think, aren't they like poison dark? I don't know. I know, chat. I'm really sorry for my lack of TCG or lack of VGC typing knowledge. My brain literally only operates in a trading card game world. And in a trading card game world, there's like, 6 to 8 types. Something like that. In the video game, there's like twice as many types. Which has been really hard for me to play through. But I will say, in Sword and Shield, it was really cool. I love how they tell you whether or not something hits for weakness when you're attacking. I think that's really cool. So I definitely love that. We've got Big Elephant. Does 220 damage for 3. That's crazy. If this Pokemon has 80 more damage counters on it, it does nothing. Sad. And then Zamazenta, Dauntless Shield. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon VMAX. That's pretty nice. And Assault Tackle does 130 damage. You discard a special energy card from your opponent's active Pokemon. Snorlax and Snorlax VMAX. Alright, press 1 in the chat. Press 4 in the chat. No, press 1 in the chat if you love this new Snorlax VMAX. Press 1 in the chat if you love Snorlax VMAX. Press 2 if you think he's ugly. 1 if you love it. 2 if he's ugly. I want to hear the opinions. 1 if you love it. 2 if he's ugly. I love him. I think he is so cool. Look at him. He's got a big tree on himself. He's growing plants. I think that's just so epic. I love Snorlax VMAX. Snorlax versus Torterra. Silver Pocket, I was actually thinking about that. This reminded me a lot of the Torterra in Detective Pikachu. You know, where the Torterra garden is like... And he's got, you know, it's got like the whole world kind of growing on itself. Definitely giving me some Torterra vibes. But yes, Snorlax VMAX, G-Max Fall, an amazing attack. It does 60 damage plus 30 more damage for each of your bench Pokemon. So if you have 5 bench Pokemon, you're dealing 210 damage. But wait, there's more. In expanded format, you could play Skyfield, and you can have up to 8 benched Pokemon. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 60 is, ding ding ding, 300 damage. You do 300 damage in expanded format with G-Max Fall. But wait, there's more. You can use triple acceleration energy with... Did I spell triple wrong? No, I didn't. Triple acceleration energy with your Snorlax VMAX because it's an evolution Pokemon. Evolves. Yeah, he's an evolution. Technically qualifies, so he can use triple acceleration energy, right? Yeah, I think so. So that's it's pretty neat. He's an evolution Pokemon. This says this card can only be attached to an evolution Pokemon. This is an evolution Pokemon. Yup. Insane. So that can deal a lot of damage. That can deal 300 damage for just 1 energy. In expanded format, that's pretty boss. In standard format, you could deal 210 damage for 1 energy. Yep, if you put Choice Band on this thing, you could deal 330 damage in expanded format for just 1 energy. In a format with Special Charger, too. And did I already mention that you can use your Winona? Told you, chat. Head on over to fullgripgames.com and order your Winonas now. You can use Winona to set up your Snorlax VMAX and your Cincino. Oh! Insane, right? So, crazy, crazy, crazy deck. You get to go get the Snorlax VMAX. You could go get yourself your Cincino over here. All right, we already talked about her, Cincino. And then you can also get, I'm pretty sure Winona, 3 colors for Pokemon and you put them into your hand. Yo, you can also get Shaman EX. So with Winona, you can now get Shaman EX and you can get your entire Cincino line and you can get your Snorlax. Yo, thanks, Mitch Stapp. Thanks, Jason, for the sub. Says, check the lightning Pokemon to see if they lost their metal resistance. Could be important because of Zacian V. I will check. Thank you, Jason, for that sub. So, I think Winona, absolutely a broken card in expanded format. And it looks to be pretty good in standard format, too, to be honest. Or, no, Winona, pretty good in standard format. Yeah, it would be good in standard format if it was standard legal. Mahone, chill. All right, pretty good card in expanded format. And Snorlax V and Snorlax VMAX appears as if it is going to be pretty promising, I would say, in like both formats. Fighting weakness. I mean, fighting is not a big type right now in the trading card game. I really like this Oranguru. I think he's cool. Once during a turn before you attack me, switch a card from your hand with the top card of your deck. It's like not quite as good as just like drawing, but you do get to do a little swapperoo there, which is kind of cool. Wooloo and Wooloo Senior. Gotta love those guys. And then, of course, the most broken items ever. Quick Ball, Quick Ball, Quick Ball. insane card, chat. This is the card we needed. This is the card we wanted. This is the card we've been dreaming about since the rotation happened. This card is absolutely everything that the game needed, and thank you so much to the R&D game developers for making this card happen. Quick Ball. Discard a card from your hand, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, and put it into your hand. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. This is amazing. This card is going to make Pikarom almost playable again. I mean, you could just go get your Tapu Koko Prism Star. You could go get your Jirachis. Non-GX decks are going to love this card. Non-GX decks are just going to get to set up their Pokemon finally and not have to rely on Pokemon communication to get them out into play. So many more decks are viable because of Quick Ball. And Quick Ball gets your Dedenne GX, it can put it to the hand. In expanded format, it can get your Shaman EX and put it to the hand. It gets your Lele GX and put it to the hand. It can put these Pokemon with abilities that come into play when you put it from your hand into play. It doesn't just put them onto the bench like Nest Ball. It puts them into the hand like Ultra Ball so that they can be played and their abilities can be triggered. So I really love Quick Ball. I think it's just a strict upgrade on Nest Ball in a lot of ways. Obviously, Nest Ball and Quick Ball are two different cards and are going to be seen differently. But Quick Ball is going to single-handedly make Jirachi the it card of expanded format again. Jirachi was still an it card in expanded format, even when you had to rely on Pokemon communication to get Jirachi into play. Now you could just Quick Ball for your Jirachi immediately, switch it into the active position, and just go from there. So I really, really love Quick Ball, and I think it's very good. Lily in the chat says, how do evolution decks survive the new supporter rule? They may have to play cards like that. Maybe you got to play Bike. I don't know. I guess you probably have to. No, the Bike doesn't work because that ends your turn. So evolution decks are going to have to play a lot of Pokemon in a lot of ways to search Pokemon. I think that you're going to have to just have a lot of Pokemon search in your deck so that you're guaranteed to start with a couple of Pokemon search cards in your hand and can get them out on the first turn of the game going first. I think Jirachi is going to be very good. I think that evolution decks are going to have to play Jirachi, and the goal is to, like, even though you can't play a supporter card on the first turn, you hope to start Jirachi and Stellar Wish, find yourself a Quick Ball, get a couple of Pokemon set up without needing to play a supporter card. And I think Jirachi is going to be even more valuable in standard format, even more valuable when the first turn rule changes. Decks are going to rely on Jirachi and multiple Stellar Wish to try and set up their board states without using a supporter for turn. Thank you so much, Jesse Parker, for the Twitch Prime sub. 12 months, my man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, dude. But yes, Jirachi, I think, is going to be even bigger with Sword and Shield format. And if you think about, like, you guys remember what, like, turn ones with Zapdos decks used to be like when you used to just, like, Stellar Wish, switch, Stellar Wish, switch, and then you would end with, like, a big Lily? I think a lot of decks might just try to emulate that turn one where you Stellar Wish, find a Quick Ball, find another Pokemon, you know, a Skateboard, retreat, Stellar Wish again, find another Quick Ball, get another Pokemon. And you're going to be starting off turns like that where it doesn't necessarily matter if you have a turn one supporter. I think that's really good. You can also Rotom Bike. That's true too. You can Rotom Bike to draw cards on the first turn of the game going first. You can also Dedenne GX, right? So I think a lot of decks are going to be playing Dedenne GX as well. You could Stellar Wish, find a Quick Ball, Dedenne GX, discard your hand, draw 6 cards. There's still a lot you can do on your first turn, even if you're going first, even though you can't play a supporter card. So, that's all well and good. We've got Rare Candy getting a reprint with a beautiful artwork on that item card. I think that's really dope for sure. Metal Saucer, which is basically Metal Patch, which is basically kind of the long-lost cousin of Dark Patch and Aqua Patch. Why they decided to mix it up to Metal Saucer instead of just being Dark Patch or Aqua Patch, I don't know. You got me. But either way, we got ourselves a Metal Patch here. That's pretty cool. Fine Band. It's funny because we've talked about many of these cards in this set are just strict upgrades on other cards, right? Super Rod or what is it? Good Rod? Fishing Rod? Fishing Rod is just better than Super Rod in a lot of ways. Quick Ball is like a very strong upgrade on some cards, on some search cards. I think it's better than Nest Ball in a lot of ways. Evolution Incense is just better than Evo Soda. It's just free evolution search. It's better than Evo Soda. There's a lot of cards in the set that are just strict upgrades. But then you look at a card like Fine Band. Attach a Pokemon tool to one of your Pokemon that doesn't have a tool attached to it. The attacks of the Pokemon this card's attached to do 10 more damage. Right? Fine Band is literally just a worse Muscle Band. That's just... So, like I said, you can't always just be increasing the power level of cards. Muscle Band did plus 20 for all Pokemon. Fine Band does plus 10 for all Pokemon. I think it's still a fine card. No pun intended. I think it's a good card. I think that it has potential to fix math on some Pokemon. Some Pokemon are going to like this. Reshizard might like to do 240 damage sometimes. Sure. And I think that as Arceus Dagopalki, maybe ADP likes it. I think that there are going to be some decks that need to hit those certain numbers, and this 10 damage could be a difference maker in those decks. Reshiram and Zekrom. People are saying Reshiram in the chat. That's accurate. Reshiram only hits 270. It'll want to hit 280. Now, I think we need to kind of take everything we know about math in the Pokemon trading card game when we're thinking about Sword and Shield and more or less throw it out the window, because the whole 270 being the magic number thing, I think is going to be a thing of the past. Now, the magic number might be somewhere closer to 330 or 340. That or 270 might still be the magic number. 280 might still be the magic number. And maybe we just concede the fact that we're never, ever knocking out a Snorlax VMAX in one hit. Or never, ever, ever knocking out a Lapras GX, a Lapras VMAX in one hit, right? Maybe. Or do these become the new magic numbers? Do we now need to hit 320, 330, or 340 damage in one hit? I definitely would be impressed if we are able to see one-hit knockouts in, these ballparks. I think for the most part, decks are going to be trying to hit probably the 270, 280, and it's just got to be conceded that 340 is probably not getting hit in one hit. Then, what else we got? Citrus Berry. You heal 3 damage counters on it, on a Pokemon. Lucky Egg. If the Pokemon this card's attached to is knocked out by an attack from your opponent's active Pokemon, draw cards until you have 7 cards in your hand. That's pretty good. I don't think that's that bad. So you get to fill to 7. It's like a Lucky Helmet, kind of, but better in a lot of ways. Team Yell Grunt is like literally worse Flare Grunt, kind of. It's put an energy from your opponent's Pokemon into their hand. It's like kind of like worse Plumeria, except you don't have to discard cards. And then it's kind of like worst Flare Grunt, but you can do it from the bench. It's like this weird combo of Flare Grunt and Plumeria. And I think that it kind of in expanded format, I think it's just kind of outclassed by Plumeria and Flare Grunt. In standard format, I think this card will be very good. Can you attach Egg to a doll? That is interesting. Lucky Egg. Attach Pokemon tool to one of your Pokemon that doesn't already have a tool attached to it. Pokedoll. I don't see why not. if you read doll, there we are. Play this card as if it were a 30 HP colorless basic Pokemon. At any time during a turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may discard all cards attached to it and put it at the bottom of your deck. This card can't retreat. If the card is knocked out, your opponent can't take any prizes for it. So, yes, you definitely can attach it to a doll because you can attach tools to dolls. You just can't retreat. So, the only thing it can't do is retreat, right? That's it. So, like, if you attach a skateboard to the doll, that's cool. It's skating now, but it's not retreating. So, yeah, you can attach Lucky Egg to the doll. If they knock out the doll, then you get to draw cards. It's kind of cool. Team Yell Grunt, like I said, kind of like a weird middle ground between Plumeria and Flare Grunt. Marnie, both players shuffle their hands without looking and put them at the bottom of their decks. Then you draw 5, your opponent draws 4. I think this is a really good supporter as well. It's like a Judge, but better, right? It's literally better Judge in a lot of ways. You draw 5, your opponent draws 4. And then what's also cool about it is that you're going to play the Marnie when you don't necessarily want anything, you know, back from the hand that you're shuffling in. So I think that's really cool. I think this card is just better than Judge in a lot of ways. And then Aura Energy is a really neat effect for an energy card. When you attach this energy card from your hand to a Pokemon, you have to discard another card from your hand. And then it's basically Rainbow Energy. Thank you so much, Beezle Bozo, for the 200 bits. And yes, that's another thing we got to talk about, the minus 30 resistances, for sure. So I think Aura Energy, really neat. We're also going to have Rainbow Energy and Aura Energy legal at the same time. So decks are going to be able to play like 8 basically Rainbow Energy effects. And then one final question here about resistances. This is something that I forgot about. Resistances are getting changed to minus 30 instead of minus 20. So resistances are going to be playing a bigger role than they had previously. And I think with the general power creep, it probably won't be that noticeable of a difference, considering Pokemon have more HP and Pokemon are doing more damage. So rather than thinking about resistances more or less changing the game, think of it as if, like, basically it's inflation and resistances just need to keep up with the power creep, right? Because if resistances stay minus 20, when a Pokemon's got 330 hit points, that's not really doing a whole lot. So minus 30 kind of just made sense as far as keeping up with the with inflation of the HP and things like that. Looking back at these lightning cards, I don't see any metal resistances on them. I know Jason had a question about that earlier. Morpeko does not seem to either. So I'm not seeing any of those metal resistances on the new lightning type Pokemon anyway. Thank you so much, Verge, for the sub. Thank you guys all for tuning in during this trading card game set review from the new Japanese expansion, Sword and Shield. It's going to be part of our February trading card game expansion. I'm predicting, right? It's for the most part pretty evident that that's going to be a thing. And this set comes out on December 6th. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring the bell. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrickyJim, where I stream Pokemon trading card game content every single weekday. Make sure to drop the channel a follow and check out fullgripgames.com for all your trading card game singles, fullgripcodes.com for all of your PTCGO codes as well, instantly delivered. Y'all take it easy and have a good one. Peace.